Hi everybody, hope you're all keeping really well. My name's Lynn, and in this video I'm going to be showing you some tips about Haworthia when it comes to repotting them. Now this also applies to aloes as well, the aloe vera succulents, because they all have very thick, as I can just show you here, big roots here. Now this is one I've actually done earlier. Sounds a little bit like Blue Peter, doesn't it? This is one I did earlier. But actually what I want to share with you is when it comes to repotting these plants, a really good tip is to really take time with them. And as you can see, most of them always grow in big clumps if you have a plant old enough. This plant here is actually one my brother gave me many years ago, so there's a lot of age to it. And what I do every year is actually take it apart. They actually grow in little clumps anyway, so by breaking it all apart, you're not doing any damage at all. Splitting each one up, and I take time then going through each one, taking all of the dead roots off. And with Haworthias, they tend to have a lot of old, dead, dying, decaying roots, and it's really important to remove these, because if you don't and you just repot it as it is, or you just leave it, it can cause the plant to rot in the future. So this is a really good tip, to actually spend each time breaking each one up and removing all the dead leaves, as I'm doing in this case here. We take a good few minutes on each one, like that, and then cutting back on these dead roots here, loosening it up maybe with a blunt end of a spoon on here, and using a good pair of secateurs, some good clean secateurs there, cutting back all the dead roots, and it should end up looking like this one here, nice and clean, no dead roots, nice fresh roots on it. And then doing that with all of them there. And then what I do then is I mix up some fresh compost. I always like to use Johnson's No. 2. And I use also some grit as well, horticultural grit. Now what I normally do for the desert cacti, I'd normally mix up probably 1 part of grit, 1 part sand, and 1 part Johnson's No. 2. Sometimes I'd use 50% Johnson's No. 2, 50% perlite, depending on what type of plant. The desert cacti, I always think I prefer to use as much sand and grit as possible, but with the Haworthias, they actually like a richer soil. So I tend to not use as much. I tend to use 1/4 grit to 1 part grit to 3 parts Johnson's No. 2, and I give it a really good mix like this. Put it into its new bowl. Always make sure that when you're repotting, you always use clean, sterilised pots as well, because if you're using old pots, it can harbour bacteria. So always make sure you give it a really good clean. And then what I'm going to be doing now is repotting them, putting these back into the fresh soil, like so, and I'm going to show you how it looks afterwards. There you go, that's all the roots all done, all nicely tidied up, now ready to be repotted. Now just a little bit of a tip, if by chance, luckily these roots were in quite good condition, it's just a case of removing some of the decayed roots, but if the roots are very bad, you have to do a lot of cutting back on them. I'd probably recommend letting them dry out for a couple of days first before repotting into new compost. But if in this case the roots aren't too bad and haven't had to do too much removing, so they'll be ready to go straight into the compost. It's me halfway through it, and what I'm doing is obviously making a hole in there, pushing that through, like so. Yeah, it's all done, all been completed. That's the finished result, all nicely potted up. And what I would recommend is, once you pot them up, is not to water them for at least 2 weeks. Now this gives it a chance for the roots to actually recover, because obviously you've been cutting them down and trimming the roots. Gives it a chance to repair itself. And I've also got a few left over, which is really exciting, that couldn't fit into the bowl. So this means I'm going to pot them up and give them to family and friends, which is going to be a really nice treat for them. So there you go. Hope you really enjoyed the video. If you enjoyed it, please give this a like for me. I'd really appreciate it. And also, if you haven't done already, please subscribe. And I want to send you loads and loads of love and happiness from Ireland as always. And until the next video.